Welcome back to the channel. You find us at Harley Davidson in Leeds to review this, the 2021 Harley Davidson Breakout. Welcome to Gear Talk. So this is it. I am about to lose my cherry for the very first time on the Harley Davidson. This is the Breakout 2021 model. And from what Tom, our fantastic Tom, the sales guy there, nice to see you again, Tom, has told me, this is completely stock, apart from it's got the sissy bar. So everything on it that you see is stock. All right, let's give it a go. I'm so excited. I didn't sleep last night. Well, maybe about 2 hours. Throw my leg over. Well, first thing is, it's very low. Nice and low, so I'm only 5'8" with a 32-inch inside leg, as some of you may already know. I can completely get my feet flat on the floor. So, no problems there, even though the bike is in excess of 300 kilos, I think. I'm just going to ride it and give you an impression as to how I see it, and I'll fill in the details on the screen as we go. Let's bring some life to the beast. I'm nervous. Here we go. Oh, I felt like I was starting a truck. It's growling at me. Right, I've got to get used to this. Here we go. Oh, instantly I put my feet into the wrong position on the pegs. Oh, this is like no other bike I've ever ridden. But already I feel like a man. Get used to the brakes and everything before I get onto the big one. Oh, it's all scary. There are too many cars here. I want my mummy. Oh, f*** it. Let's go. I'm angry. Oh, everything about it's chunky. I feel like I've just been injected with testosterone. Oh, let's go. I don't know why I'm talking Scottish. Should be talking American. Come on, boy. Let's go. Let's go kick some ass. I've sort of grown up on sports tourers and more recently adventure bikes. So, subliminally, without, obviously without even knowing about it, I've already got myself accustomed to a certain riding style, if you like, for want of a better phrase. And obviously, this is so far removed from that. Oh, I'll tell you what, I know it's a heavy bike, but it doesn't feel it. Oh, it's like it's like it's got saliva made of Castrol GTX. It's actually not that bad on its balance when you're travelling at slow speeds. I've got a thunderstorm between my legs. Here we go. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. Oh. The pegs take some getting used to, but you soon would, no doubt about that. I know this isn't the sort of motorcycle that would normally be associated with going on the motorway, but in the interest of a fair review, I might as well give it a go. While at motorway speeds, I've got to say, it's an experience. There's no doubt that this could quite happily punch along at 70, 80 all day long. But unless you've got arms like Arnie, I don't think you'd want to do it. Obviously, with it being this style of bike, you've got no wind protection whatsoever. But that's not really the point, is it? So from a motorway point of view, on a hot day you're going to keep cool. On a cold day, you're either going to have to be extremely hard, extremely nuts, or extremely sane and stay at home. It's a very visceral experience on the motorway. You're being hit by the elements, and for me, that's one of the best things about riding a bike. All my senses are tingling. Motorway speeds, and we're doing what, 72, 2,600 revs. It's very smooth. I'm going to give it its due. I expected there to be a lot of vibrations. The big V-twin, all that kind of Harley-esque stuff that were my preconceived ideas. At the moment, they've just been blown away. Oh, the sound and the... Oh, I want to lick it. It's quite possibly the angriest, coolest bike I've ever ridden. Side wind off a truck, no problem. Hell, we got bigger pickups than what you got, trucks. It ain't a sports bike. Let's not try and get the knee down. You just got to, I won't say you got to manhandle it. You just got to get used to it. I think that's what it boils down to. Yeah, the clutch is a little heavy, but that's okay. It's kind of like everything about this bike is heavy. But I don't mean that in a detrimental way. I just mean it in a well-built way. It's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde. Slow speeds. It's as docile as a puddy cat. Mirrors vibrating. Yeah, it's got a bit of vibration, but you know what? That's Harley, isn't it? That's V-twin. Graham and I are pretty lucky because we ride an awful lot of bikes. Sometimes you can be a little bit saturated with precision, and consequently they become more and more refined. But in some ways it takes a little bit of fun out of it. I'm not saying you're cocooned like a car. That's impossible. But you almost become a little bit detached from the experience. You can't be detached on this. Feel quite a bit of heat coming off the exhaust. Self-cancelling indicators as well. I like that. Mother of God! You wouldn't want to ride this past a graveyard and let rip. You'd wake up the dead. Not the easiest at slow speeds to do tight manoeuvres. You probably won't get this off the camera, but I'm going up a 15-degree incline. I'm in third gear, 1800 revs, a little twist of the throttle. Well, it just wants to go. It's got more torque than a talky thing. I thought gear torque had a lot of torque. This is on another level. Whether people can see me or not, I don't know, but they can definitely hear me. Wow, just look at that. It's like a Hollywood A-lister. And for me, who's just lost my cherry on a Hollywood A-lister in typical movie fashion, I had to pull over, I had to stop, I had to reprogram my brain, and I had to have a post-coital cigarette and calm down. God, I wish you were here to experience what I've just experienced. It's like no other bike I've ridden. No other bike whatsoever. It's very easy to understand how people become so attached to these machines. It's got a certain je ne sais quoi, shall we say. There's the beastie though, isn't it? 114 cubic inches, which equates to around about just under a 1.9 litre engine. On a motorbike. That's phenomenal. Forward controls anyway, you know what I mean. The foot brake on that side, and obviously on the other side you've got the gear change. The suspension at the front is non-adjustable, but at the back it is adjustable for preload with the little dial there, so you can dial your number in, and it's not a massive amount of adjustment, but I'm sure it will make a difference. Chrome everywhere. Oh, like I said at the beginning, this is a stock bike, with the exception of the sissy bar. So what you see is literally what you get for your money. And then of course you've got the Harley tax on top of that, which most people are going to do anyway. At the back you've got the single disc as well, with 2-pot calipers at the back. But look at that wheel. God, look at that wheel. Everything about this bike is good looking, in my humble opinion. In my humble opinion. Yeah. Look at look at the tyre. How big is that tyre? Does it say? It doesn't say, but it's a Michelin Scorcher 2. And I'll stick the details on the screen, obviously. Yeah. So looking at the seat, you know, it's not the most uncomfortable seat in the world, but looking at it, I expected it to be a bit more comfortable. Well, you know, I mean, everybody's different, aren't they? The bit at the back offers you pretty good support at the lower part of your back, but the funny thing is you feel as though you sort of sat back on your backside, but then leaning forward with your hands. I'm sure that's comfortable for short journeys for a pillion. Let's have a look at this LCD. Do you know what? Even though it's small, it's still quite readable. It just depends on how the light hits you and how clean it is. Oh, I'm just a mucky bugger, aren't I? So, operating the it's not even a mode button. I've got so used to saying mode button. Anyway, that operates what's on the LCD. So you've got miles per hour, 41 miles. I think it only had about 9 miles on when I picked it up. That is your average miles to the gallon, I think. Or that's the miles that we've done today. Right, that makes sense. That's the range that you've got left in your tank. Time, RPM, which at the bottom it just comes up with the digital numbers. And again back to the odometer, and then you've got your miles per hour there and a fuel gauge there. Very small, very compact, fairly readable in the right lighting, and then of course you've got all your idiot's lights down here. Sounds like an old truck engine just firing up. It's reassuringly brutal. Suspension wise, you know what, it's not bad. I expected it to be very very hard, and I don't know whether maybe that's just a preconceived idea that I shouldn't have had. Yeah, even over sleeping policemen, it's that's not that bad at all, really. It's not shaking my feelings out. Now that I've been riding the bike a little while and I've got used to it sort of sorry, I smell diesel. That's never a good smell when you're on a bike. Yeah, now that I've got used to riding the bike a little bit, I'm actually starting to bond with it. Handling characteristics, you know, it's never going to be a sports bike. I don't think these kind of bikes, they're not made for corners. They're not. They're just not, because you don't have corners in America, do you? Which is where this baby belongs. No, sorry to our American viewers, that was really flippant of me, but you know what I mean. It's a dragster. It's get gone in a straight line, wham. But it works, and I get it. Can anybody remember back in the 80s when there was a famous poster of a Lamborghini Countach, a white one? It's kind of, for me, it's right up there with the lady tennis player that was just scratching a little tushy. It's one of those. To me, this is what this bike is. It's one of those poster. It's a poster boy. But then I think that's where Harley pride themselves, isn't it, on the looks and the fit and the finish and everything else. They give you something that you're going to buy with your eyes anyway. Let's face it, we don't buy bikes with our with our heads, do we? Oh, I must get that because it does 75 miles to the gallon. I'm going to save a polar bear. Much as I love polar bears, but you know, the majority of sane people anyway don't buy bikes with their heads. They buy it with their heart, they buy it with their eyes. These kind of machines are bought by people who go, right, that's what I want, and now I'm going to make it my own. I bet you'd be hard pressed to find two Harleys that are identical in, let's say if you put 100 of them together. I bet you'd struggle to find two that are identical. And I think that's where Harley have got it right. I think that's kind of what separates them from all the other companies, is that they give you this machine that's got that certain something about it that you can then go, blank canvas, let me get my paintbrushes out. There aren't many bikes that can compete with this because they're not in the same category. There are two that spring to mind. The Ducati X Diavel, and the other one would probably be the Triumph Rocket 3. For my money, it would be those three in the same bracket. So they've all got their own place within the hierarchy, and they're all expensive, incredibly expensive. You're buying premium quality stuff, and premium quality costs money. So the sort of person that's going to buy this bike, well, I would hazard a guess it's not going to be his only bike. And if it is his only bike, or her only bike, it's only something for the weekend. It's a toy. It's a plaything. How does it stack up against the Ducati and the Triumph? Well, it's down on power, it's down on torque, it's down on electronics, technical stuff. But that doesn't matter, because it's got the badge. They've earned their stripes, they've earned their badge. God, you sound good! Ha ha ha! I am animal! Oh, you've got to love these lights on motorways. It's just castrating people. Oh, we need to have health and safety because we haven't got brains anymore. We can't think for ourselves because we've lost all common sense. Sometimes you don't need common sense. Sometimes you just want to have a bit of fun. And on a bike like this, you certainly can have fun. I feel like I'm at the start of the Industrial Revolution, and I've got Isambard Kingdom Brunel as a pillion. I am a beast. Hear me roar. Get out. So let's see if I can summarize the bike for you then. Well, I think I can say it in one word. Badass. It really is. This is James Dean, this is Marlon Brando, this is Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, this is Hollywood A-lister, baby. This is uber cool, totally intoxicating in the sound department, an absolute hoot to ride, and yet a bike I would never dream of buying. It's not for me, but my God. If you're in a position and you want a plaything, this would be a good choice. It's hard to describe to somebody, isn't it, who doesn't ride bikes, what that special bond is. You can't really put it into words, but you know, don't you? You know. Bad to the bone. Those 2 hours sleep that I got last night, they were well worth it. Oh! You can't do a normal review on a bike like this, because it's not a normal bike. Does it work? How can you answer that? The brakes are average. The steering, it's got good points and bad points. The weight of it, whoa, it's heavy. It's got the turning circle of a battleship, but it's built like a battleship. You know, it's got guns. When the sun's out, bring the guns out. Where's the sun? Right. It's got a bit of a twitchy throttle. It's got a strange riding position, but you get used to it. It's got, and it keeps on going. I don't know, this is ridiculous. Well, now that we're coming towards the end of the test ride, and I can feel myself getting a little bit sad, we want to give a massive shout out to Leeds Harley Davidson and to Alan and the gang down there for supplying us this bike. What an absolute treat it was. If this is the first time you've seen the channel, thanks very much for watching the video, really appreciate it. If you want to see some more of these videos, consider subscribing. Hit the good old like button and leave us a comment. They say you never forget your first experience, the first time that you lose your cherry, the first time that you pop your cherry. I don't think I will forget. And in years to come, when I'm older and greyer, and Harley Davidson have brought out the next generation of supermodel, and we go electric, or whatever other power source they're going to bring along, I'll always look back and I'll remember this day. Thanks for watching.